All right, so we are going to go over how to discover the law of cosines, okay? Again, this is going to help you make a connection of what this had to do with trig. But you're not going to have to repeat this on a test or quiz, but I do think it is important for your understanding of where it came from. I need you not to talk while I'm talking. You just got to write this down. That's all you have to do. Okay.
You got to go slow and explain this in deep.
Okay. So this part, I might go a little bit fast, but remember, you're not going to have to do this on a test or quiz, but when we go over the example problems, I'll do that nice and slow.
So we're not doing this on test or quiz?
Yes, but you should go over it so you understand where trig comes from, how it relates. Okay, the altitude, to develop the law of cosines, you're going to begin with triangle A, B, C. C is the vertex, it's an altitude with K. Altitudes drop and make 90-degree angles. Okay, that's why we're doing it. And separate the side into segments X and C minus X. Okay, these segments are like this because this whole thing is C and I'm taking X away from it. Shh. Okay, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to write two equations, one relating to X and one of B and CX and C. Okay, so the reason we're going to do this is we're going to find out how to find this side, and we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to do it. You ready? So, we're going to do just this side first. So I know I would do x squared plus k squared equals a squared. Okay, that's just this side. Then we're going to do the other side. And we do c minus x squared plus k squared equals b squared. Shh. It's just the Pythagorean theorem, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just the Pythagorean theorem. Don't let the c minus x confuse you. Just think of it as one number. We're just squaring it. Plus the other side squared equals b squared. Okay, both equations involve k squared, and I'm not going to write this down, but the reason they both involve it is because they share a side. Now we're going to solve each equation for k squared. So this first one I'm going to write down again. X squared plus k squared, don't talk anymore while I'm talking, equals a squared. I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides. And I get k squared equals a squared minus x squared. Okay, so that's solved for k squared. And then the other one I've got c minus x squared plus k squared equals b squared. So I'm going to subtract c minus x squared from both sides. So I get k squared equals b squared minus c minus x squared. Okay? All right. Both of them are equal to k squared, so the nice thing about this is we can make both of them equal to each other. Okay, so these are equal to each other. So that's a squared minus x squared equals b squared minus c minus x squared. Okay, on the back, we're going to have to do some algebra where we multiply this out. And it looks a little weird because it's all letters, but we can do this. So once you get 3 down, we're going to switch it over, and I'm going to rewrite 3 right at the top of 4 on the other side. Okay? So if you're missing 3, don't worry about it. I'm going to write it down again. It is a squared minus x squared equals b squared minus c minus x squared.
Where are you writing that at?
Right at the top of the back page. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to solve this all out. So c minus x squared, we've got to multiply. So that's like c minus x times c minus x. And you guys can either think of it as, you know, where we go c minus x and c minus x, or you can think of it as FOIL, where you do first, outside, inside, last. Okay? That's why I do it this way, because I don't like it either. I feel like it's easier for me to keep track if it's this way. So I end up with a squared minus x squared equals b squared minus, still in parentheses, c squared minus 2cx plus x squared. Okay? If you can't get all that, don't worry about it. Just write it down. Okay? Remember, I'm not going to make you do this again. I just want you to see where it comes from. Okay? Now I'm going to distribute my negative. And I get a squared minus x squared equals b squared minus c squared plus 2cx minus x squared. Okay. Now I want to solve for b squared. Okay, once I've done this. So that means I'm going to retake this, a squared minus x squared equals b squared minus c squared plus 2cx minus x squared, and I'm trying to get b squared all by itself. So first of all, I'm going to get all of these to the other side, and then I'm going to get b squared to the other side. Okay? So I'll just move these over. So I'm going to add x squared. Okay? Then I'm going to subtract 2cx. And then I'm going to add c squared. So I end up with b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2cx. And the x squareds have canceled. Okay. So the equation in question 5 still involves an x. To eliminate the x from the equation, we will attempt to substitute x. We will write a cosine for b. Okay, make sure you have this down. And we are going to find out what x is, and we're going to substitute it in. So I'm going to turn it over. You ready? Turning it over. I'm going to do a cosine of b. Okay? So if we're doing cosine of b equals the adjacent x over a. See that right there? Now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to say a cosine b equals x. So everywhere I see an x, I can replace with a cosine b. A cosine b. Okay. So I'm going to turn it back over. I'm rewriting it. Don't worry if you didn't get it down, because this is the important part. B squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ca cosine b. Okay? This is the important part, because we found that x equals a cosine b. So we replaced it. Okay? So I'm just going to do one more thing. I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to say b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac. All I switched was the a and c because I like it in alphabetical order. Cosine b. Okay? So luckily, I'm not going to make you do that all again for what a squared and c squared is. I'm just going to have you guys write it down. So these are the equations we're going to use today. We're going to use a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. We're going to use b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b. And we're going to use c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. Okay. You can also use these to find angles. So we're going to use these to find angles and to find sides. You guys ready? So these are the important equations for today. You want to keep this sheet with you because it has the equations on it. And we're going to go ahead and move to our homework, and I'm going to do one where you find a side and one where you find an angle. You ready? Okay. So this is important. I'm doing 2 of your homework assignments problems right now so that you only have 8 to do tonight instead of 10. Okay, so make sure you copy these down. All right, the first thing we're going to do is label little b, little a, and little c. Okay? At the top of your paper, you can see we only have one of the equations. I recommend writing down the other 2. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a, and b squared equals a squared, I'm not sure why anybody's talking right now, plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b. Okay? We've got an angle for c done. I recommend doing the angle for A and B also. So if you want to find angle A, you're going to use cosine -1, A squared minus B squared minus C squared, all over -2BC. And angle B is cosine -1. This is just solve for you so you have less to do. You don't have to like take the inverse or anything. It's already done for you. Cosine of b is b squared minus c squared minus a squared all over negative 2ac. So now you've got all those equations down. You don't have to manipulate anything to find those equations, and it's going to make your life easier. Want me to zoom in a little bit? Can you guys see that better when I do that? Okay, so you're going to add those 4 things to the top, and it's going to be much easier with those 4 things. Okay, once you have those written down, we are going to go ahead and do a problem, one where we find a side, one where we find an angle. All right. So we're going to start with number 1. We labeled it little a, little b, and little c. We're trying to find a to b, so we want to find little c. Whatever the one we want to find, we use that equation. Yeah, I'm just going to write it here smaller. We're trying to find little c. So we go little c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. And now we're going to plug everything in. So we don't know what little c is, so we just put c squared. We do know a squared is 29 squared plus b squared is 13 squared minus 2 times 29 times 13. And then we do cosine. Instead of cosine, we make sure we do the angle for that one, 41. And we're literally going to do it in 2 steps. We're going to plug that into our calculator. So in your calculator, you can do this in your phone too. You just have to work backwards with your phone. 29 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 29 times 13 cosine 41. And I get 440.949. And the last step is I just take the square root of it. So c equals 20.99. And I'm done. So I think that's even easier than the law of sines. Okay, let's see if I'm correct. I'm going to plug this into my calculator because I know a lot of you are going to do stuff at home. So I want to plug it into my phone calculator to make sure. I believe you will get the same answer if you do 41 cosine times 13 times 29 times 2. You just have to do it in parts if you do it in your calculator. And I'm going to get minus 569.05. And then you go 29 squared is 841. And 13 squared is 169. And then you just put in your calculator like that. 841 plus 169 minus 569.05. And you get the same answer, and then you square root it. So you have to just do it in parts when you do it in your phone calculator. All right, would you like to do one more and we do an angle? Okay. We're going to go up here for the angle. And we're looking for angle A. This is little a, little b, and little c. Shh. We're finding angle A, so we're going to go cosine of -1, parentheses, 6 squared minus 14 squared minus 9 squared, all over -2 times 9 times 14. So I'm going to put that in my calculator. I hit trig cosine -1, then I hit control divide, and then I'm going to put it all in there. 6 squared minus 14 squared minus 9 squared divided by -2 times 9 times 14. And I'm going to get A equals, it's 16.99, so I'm going to round up to 17 degrees. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. There's 8 more to do. We've got a decent amount of time left in class for you guys to work on this, so you can ask questions if you need to. Okay?